Welcome to the Wind Up with Will, everyone. I'm your host, Will, here with another video. It's been a week since I've done a video, and I've been saying I want to do this for a while, and I'm finally doing it. I'm doing an NHL prediction video. Now, I know they're technically, most teams are a quarter of the way through the season now, so I'm a little late on this, but I've just been super busy. But I'm finally getting a video out, so it's not going to be quite a preseason prediction, but it's going to be a mixture of preseason slash current status projections of how the season has gone so far. So it's going to be a mixture of what I think will happen plus what is kind of already going on with teams. So they're not, these aren't completely unbiased preseason predictions like we've had, like I do with the NFL and MLB. Um, with those sort of videos where the videos come out like even if it's like a weekend of the season or whatnot, it's more authentic of this is what I think will happen during the season because a quarter of the season's gone by, so I'm going to be influenced by what has happened so far in the season. But without further ado, let's get started on the NHL season. So I do have the standings pulled up. Well, I did. If I can get back to them. Okay, I have the standings pulled up. I'm going to go with my predictions of how I think where the top four teams, essentially the playoff teams from each division are going to be, and how the playoffs are going to go, and then who I think is going to be the season award winners at the end of the season. And I'll try and mention if I can what's gone on so far, but I need to keep this video as short as possible because, as I've said before, my internet is not great, so it takes a while to upload anything. So without further ado, let's get started. So in the Eastern Conference, in the Metro Division, starting with them because my New York Rangers are going to win this division. I think the New York Rangers are a very complete team. We've got good scoring. We've got good defensemen. We've got two good goalies. We have a good head coach in Peter Laviolette. Ah, that's a mouthful. Um, I think the Rangers are a very complete team, and we almost saw them make it to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. So I think it's only a matter of time before they get to a Stanley Cup Finals and win another one. They've got a very talented roster. There are some older veteran players on there, but they're very good players, and you've got a mixture of good young players and a really good goalie, and as I said, a good head coach. I think the Rangers are set up really well to win this division and be a Stanley Cup contender. I know currently they're fourth in the division, but it's early in the season still. So I'm picking them to win the division, be the number one team in this division. And the number two team in this division, I have the Carolina Hurricanes. They're a good team. They're a good playoff team every year. They just find a way to make the playoffs. They have a good head coach. They're a solid organization all around. And I can't spend too much time talking about the teams because I have to get through this in a short enough span. So we're just going to kind of go through the teams and not spend a ton of time on the individual teams. Perhaps I'll do a video like that in the future. Maybe is that a fly? What was that? Um, Perhaps in the future I will do a video that details the teams a little more. Third in the Metro Division, I have the New Jersey Devils. I think even though they missed the playoffs last year, 2 years ago, they knocked the Rangers out of the playoffs. I think they're a very good team. They've got good young talent. It didn't work out last year. It's working out better for them this year. They're currently leading the Metro Division and have 30 points, tops amongst teams in the East. So they're off to a really good start so far on this season. And fourth, I'm picking the New York Islanders. Whoops, my notes went away. I'm picking the New York Islanders. Right now they're fifth in the division, but they were a playoff team last year. I think they will find a way back in, and I don't really see Washington staying there all year, especially. I think Alexander Ovechkin has kind of been playing a little beat up, but I don't see Washington staying there all year in playoff contention. I think I should say they'll be contending for the playoffs, but I don't see them as an actual playoff team. So I think the Islanders are going to get back in and kind of sneak in at the end like they did last year. In the Atlantic Division, I'm picking the Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champions. Shout out to my friend Vinny, who was very excited for them winning last year. He's the only Florida Panthers fan I know. I know he's super excited for them to defend their cup, and they've got a good chance. They're a good team. They're solid all around. They have great. They play all phases of the game great. Defense, offense. They're just a solid team, and they're going to be contending for the Stanley Cup again this year. They're currently in the standings. They're currently second in the Atlantic Division. I should say they're in the Atlantic Division. They're second in the Atlantic Division, but I'm picking them to win the Atlantic Division. Second, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're a good team, and especially having Austin Matthews out right now really hurts them because he's expected to miss, I think, close to 6 weeks with an upper body injury. I actually just read that he's going to Germany to see a specialist. If he can come back and be healthy, they've got a good chance to make the playoffs and be a good team. Even without him right now, they're top of the standings in the Atlantic Division. They're a solid playoff team, and they're going to look to exercise some demons. I know they exercised the demons of winning in the first round in recent memory, after having gone a long time without winning and advancing past the first round. They've gotten past those demons. I think they're going to try and exercise some other demons and look to either get to the Eastern Conference Final or the ultimate goal, the Stanley Cup. So I have them second in the Atlantic. Third, I have the Boston Bruins. They're just a solid playoff team. They've made the playoffs the last couple of years. Last year, they were the President's Trophy winner, I believe. No, it was 2 years ago they were the President's Trophy winner. Had an outstanding year and then just completely choked in the playoffs. But they're a solid team. I'm picking them to finish third in the Atlantic. Fourth, I'm picking Tampa. I know they lost Steven Stamkos in the offseason to the Nashville Predators. I'm excited the Predators got him because he's a good player. He is more towards the end of his career. But that does hurt them, but they're still a really good team with Nikita Kucherov and Andrei Vasilevsky coming back at goalie. They're still a really solid team. They're still going to make the playoffs. Don't worry, Tampa fans. You're going to get in. So those are the teams in the East, the 8 teams in the East I'm picking to win enough to get into the playoffs. In the West, in the Central Division, I'm picking the Colorado Avalanche to win that division. I think they're a really, really solid team. At the current standings, they are 4th in that division, but Nathan MacKinnon is playing like a MVP player. I think he's currently leading in odds for MVP. So they're going to stay in this, and there's a lot of games left, so I'm picking them to win the Central. Second, I'm picking the Winnipeg Jets. They currently have the best record in the NHL. They have the most points at 34. They're 17-4 on the season. They have no overtime losses. Their head coach, Scott Arnell, is leading in the betting odds for Coach of the Year. They're playing phenomenally right now. And part of that is due to their goalie, Connor. How do you pronounce this? Connor Helbasek. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not as good at the pronunciations and hockey names because a lot of the players are foreign. So I apologize if I mispronounce his name. But he has played like a Vezina winner this year. He's leading the odds of the Vezina. Winnipeg is really good. It's hard not to see them making the playoffs unless they just utterly collapse or have injuries. I'm picking them second in the Central. Third, I'm picking the Minnesota Wild. They are currently second in that division. They're always a solid playoff team. They always make the playoffs. They're a good team, and just some of the teams beneath them, Chicago's not played well. Nashville, I would have liked to have picked to make the playoffs if this was totally preseason. And even if you look at some of the talk in the preseason, some people had the Nashville Predators as a team to make the playoffs, but they've not played well so far. I claim them as my second team. They've not played well so far. Hoping to see them improve, but it's going to be hard for them to get back in the running for the playoffs. And fourth, I have the Dallas Stars in that division. I think they are a solid team. They always make the playoffs, and Utah has not played well in their first year in the being in the NHL. I know it's technically the Arizona Coyotes relocated, but I think it's written up like they're an expansion team. St. Louis has not played well, Nashville's not played well, and Chicago's not played well. So it's really those 4 teams. Now, there's still a lot of games left, so a lot can change. But I'm picking Avalanche, Jets, Wild, and Stars in that order to finish in the Central. In the Pacific Division, I think this is a really fun division with the teams and the players we have in this division. But starting out, I'm going to say the Las Vegas Golden Knights win this division, and this is more influenced. This pick is far more influenced by the current standings. They're currently leading that division. They're playing really great. They won the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. They're a great team. They have great talent. I believe I picked them. I can't remember entirely if I picked them to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals last year, the Western Conference Finals. But they're a really good team. They are Stanley Cup contenders, and this pick is solely on what they're doing this year. I would be between them and the Oilers preseason, but how they're doing so far, leading that division, I got to pick them to win the division, the Golden Knights. Second, I have the Oilers. Now, the Oilers have not gotten off to a great start. They're fourth currently in the division at 11, 9-2, only 24 points on the year. But coming into the season, I would have picked them to be the team to win this division. I think they're still a really great team. They have two of the best players in the league, in Leon Draisaitl and the big guy Connor McDavid. It's essentially Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier brought back. You have these two amazing guys on the same team, and the Oilers fans are really blessed to have those guys. So I'm picking the Oilers second in this division. I know they're not off to the start that they would have wanted, but they're still a really solid team, and they're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be contending to perhaps even win this division. But I'm picking them right now to be second in the Pacific Division. Third, I'm picking the Los Angeles Kings. They're third in the division currently. They've gotten off to a decent start. The Canucks were a popular team amongst people to pick to make the playoffs, but I'm not going to pick them just based on the current standings. I think they can get back in it. I'm gonna have to do a little more research on some of the players and a little bit more of the teams and follow it a little closer than I have over the first quarter of the season. But I don't think the Canucks at the moment are a team I'm going to pick to make the playoffs, because the fourth team I'm picking is the Calgary Flames. They are, I lost my schedule again, or the standings again. Calgary Flames are currently second in the Pacific Division. They're 12-6-3 with 27 points, 1 point behind the Golden Knights. They've played pretty well. They've got a talented roster. They're looking to make some noise in the playoffs. They don't want their neighbors in Alberta, the Oilers, to get all the love in hockey. They're looking to steal some thunder, and perhaps, just perhaps, we might see a playoff matchup between those two teams that would be very awesome for that rivalry. So speaking of playoffs, I'm gonna go quickly through how I think the playoffs would unfold if the teams finished how I picked them there. Remember, we have in the Metro I have the Rangers, Hurricanes, Devils, and Islanders in that order. In the Atlantic, the Panthers, the Maple Leafs, the Bruins, and the Lightning in that order. And then in the Central, I have the Avalanche, the Jets, the Wild, and the Stars. In the Pacific, the Golden Knights, the Oilers, the Kings, and the Flames. If I had a graphic, I could just pull that up, but I don't have a producer in studio here. The Avalanche, Jets, Wild, and Stars in the Central, Golden Knights, Oilers, Kings, and Flames in the Pacific. So this is how the playoffs would go. In the East, in the first round, I have the Rangers over the Islanders. Great rivalry matchup in the playoffs. We've got Devils over the Hurricanes, Panthers over the Bolts. Bolts as in the Lightning, that's their other nickname. The Maple Leafs over the Bruins again. Second time in a short span. That's going to be a growing rivalry there. Who cares about the Bruins and Habs rivalry? I want the Bruins Maple Leafs. That's the rivalry that's brewing now, based if this were to hold. In the second round of the Eastern Conference, I have the Rangers over the Devils. I think that'd be a great series, a rematch from a couple years ago. And I've got the Panthers over the Maple Leafs. I think that would be a great matchup between the defending Stanley Cup champions and a team that is looking to get to the Stanley Cup for the first time in a long while. And then with that, we have an Eastern Conference Finals rematch of the Rangers and Panthers, my team. And I'm going to pick the Rangers to beat the Panthers in 6 games, 4-2, and get revenge for last year. It's really hard to repeat in this league. I know the Lightning did it a few years ago, But I think the Rangers in a rematch are going to beat the Panthers. Even though they're a really solid team, I just see the Rangers are going to finally muscle their way through to a Stanley Cup appearance. I just now realized I did not pick a President's Trophy winner in the NHL. So I'm going to say the Colorado Avalanche. I think they're a really solid team all around. That's who I'm going to pick to win the President's Trophy. I forgot to make that pick before doing this video, but that is my pick. So in the West, in the first round, I have the Avalanche over the Stars, the Wild over the Jets, the Golden Knights over the Flames, and the Oilers over the Kings. In the second round, I have the Avalanche over the Wild. I have the Oilers over the Golden Knights. I think that will be a great series matchup if we get that. Whether it's in the first round, second round, or somehow it ends up in the conference finals, that will be a great matchup. But I'm picking the Oilers over the Golden Knights. The Oilers are really trying to get back to that Stanley Cup final after getting the taste of it last year. Western Conference Final, I'm picking the Oilers over the Avalanche in 7 games. This would be a great series as well, but the Oilers, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt with their 2 great players in McDavid and Draisaitl. So that gives us a Stanley Cup final, the Rangers over the Rangers and Oilers. I'm picking the Rangers, slip of the tongue there, Rangers over the Oilers in 7 games, 4-3. I hope that that's what happens. I am a totally unbiased sports journalist here. I do not make any predictions off of unbiased. As you can see, based on the posters and the hat that I wear, I am totally unbiased in my predictions. I'm being sarcastic there. I am biased. I picked the Rangers to win it last year, and I believe I maybe had the Oilers in the final last year as well. I did, because I remember I picked the Eastern Conference final opponents right last year. I had the Rangers and Panthers, but I had the Rangers beating the Panthers, and I had them facing the Oilers in the Stanley Cup, and the Eastern Conference team winning in 7 games. But I had the Panthers were the team that were there instead of the Rangers. But this year I'm going to pick the Rangers again over the Oilers. I think the Rangers have a really talented enough team to get there again, and I think in a rematch with the Panthers they maybe learned a little bit, a little more disciplined, and the pressure's maybe a little bit more on the Panthers to repeat, where the Rangers know we just need to go in here and take care of business. The Oilers, they're going to have that taste of the Stanley Cup Finals and want to get back there to it. And in this Stanley Cup Final, I would be a great matchup, and I'm picking the Rangers to win it. But the Oilers could, but I'm picking the Rangers to win it. Conn Smythe winner, I'm picking Artemi Panarin. I think if the Rangers get there and the Rangers win the Stanley Cup, I think Panarin has to be very much involved. He's been criticized over the years with his performance in the playoffs, where he's just kind of missing in action at times. But for the Rangers to get there and win it, their best skills position player, Artemi Panarin, needs to step up. And if he does, I think the Rangers win the Stanley Cup, and he is the Conn Smythe winner. This video is running a little long, so I'm going to go through my end-of-season award winners real quick. The Hart Trophy, which is the MVP in the NHL, I'm picking Connor McDavid. We've got several other players in the running for this. If you look at the current odds this is just on sportsbook.com. You've got Kirill Kaprizov for the Minnesota Wild, part of the reason they've been so good. He has performed very well and is up there. I believe he's second in points to Nathan MacKinnon. Nikita Kucherov, Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon are also up there. But I'm picking Connor McDavid. I think he's the best overall player. Now, there might be a little fatigue of voting for him, so you might see MacKinnon or Kaprizov or Kucherov, and Artemi Panarin's kind of the 5th guy listed in there, but I think he's maybe a little farther down the line. I'd like to see him win it, but I think one of those other guys is going to win it. And I'm going to pick McDavid again. I think he's just the best player, and it's hard to bet against him. Art Ross Trophy, I'm also going to say Connor McDavid, even though Nathan MacKinnon is currently leading that. It very well could be Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche that comes out on top for the Art Ross Trophy. The Art Ross Trophy is the season leader in points total. You get 1 point for a goal, 1 point for an assist. Those combined equal your points total. I'm picking Connor McDavid. He has just been the Art Ross Trophy collector over the last few years. He's been the best player in the league for quite a while now, at least over probably the last 5 years. But I'm picking him to win it as well. The Vezina Trophy. I'm picking Connor Helbacek. I believe that's how you pronounce his name correctly. The Winnipeg Jets goalie. He has done phenomenally so far this season. He's leading in. I had it pulled up. I believe he was leading in shutouts and save percentage and goals against average of qualified players, because I think Jonathan Quick for the Rangers is leading actually in goals against average and save percentage, but he's only played a handful of games compared to Connor Helbacek. The James Norris Trophy going to the best defenseman. I'm picking Adam Fox. He has done phenomenally so far this season. He has, I believe, like 17 assists, no goals on the season, but he's performed very well. I believe he's second currently. Yeah, that's the wrong award. Where is it? Yeah, he is second. Actually, he's not second in odds. There's a few people in front of him, but I'm going to pick him to win it. I think he's one of the better defensemen in the league. Cal McCarr for the Avalanche is currently the betting odds favorite to win that, but I'm picking Adam Fox of the New York Rangers. I love the guy. He's a great player. I'm picking him to compete for it and win it. The Rocket Richard Trophy with the top goal scorer. I'm going with Leon Draisaitl. I believe him and Sam Reinhart are towards the top of the betting odds. And Sam Reinhart did phenomenally, scoring 50 goals last year. But I'm going to pick Leon Draisaitl. He is just a goal-scoring machine. The Selke Trophy for the best defensive forward is the current betting odds favorites Alexander Barkov. And just because I don't watch hockey as much as I do baseball or football, I have to go a little bit more off of what people are saying online rather than what I personally think will happen. And he's the current betting odds favorite. I do remember in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, the series between the Rangers and the Panthers, he was just great defensively against us. And it's hard to after seeing him do that to think that he's not a good defensive forward. So I'm picking him to win the Selke Trophy for best defensive forward. The Calder Memorial Trophy going to the best rookie. I'm going with Matvei Michkov, I believe is how you say his name. He's the Philadelphia Flyers young star. He's the NHL. He's tied for the NHL rookie lead in points and points per game. He's tops in his class in power play goals and power play points. 3 power play goals and 8 power play points. And he leads the Flyers in power play points. And he's tied for third in shots on goal. He has been a great player for the Flyers so far. Coming into the season, though, I probably would have said it would have been Macklin Celebrini, I believe is how you pronounce his name, for the Sharks. He was the number 1 overall pick, and it was pretty much guaranteed that he was going to go number 1 overall. Like he was a slam dunk pick, but he has been injured and only played in 10 of the 22 games for the Sharks. So him and Logan Stankanov, I believe is how you pronounce his name, for the Dallas Stars, are the other players kind of in the running, the three-headed monster for the Rookie of the Year at the moment. But I'm going with Matvei Michkov with the Flyers. Kind of looks like he's one of their better players. And, if he can continue to lead in points, and especially in power play goals and power play points, I think he will get the edge for the Calder Memorial, which is the Rookie of the Year. And the Jack Adams Coach of the Year trophy, I'm going to go with Scott Arnell, the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. They have just been phenomenal so far on the season. As I said earlier, they have had a great season so far. And if they keep it up, even if they don't maybe win the division or the President's Trophy, I think they have a good chance for him to win it, considering this is his first year. So first-year head coach doing extraordinarily well often wins Coach of the Year, unless there's just a bunch of other great candidates. But he's who I'm picking currently. He's the betting odds favorite. And if you can tell, some of these are the betting odds favorite. Some of these are the picks that I want. So, as I said before, it's kind of a mixture of what I would have said coming into the season plus what has gone on so far in the season and the betting odds. But that's what I have for this video. I'm picking the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup. I hope I'm right. As you know, I'm never biased in any of my videos. I'm just kidding at that. I am biased. I hope the Rangers do win, but if they don't, I'm excited for this NHL season. I'm probably going to see the Rangers play in Nashville here in a few weeks with my family. Super excited to do that. And that's all I got for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you like my picks for the playoffs, for the NHL end of season awards? Who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.